Looking at how low-level disruption develops during our lives, the many forms it takes, including inconsistency, blame of ourselves as well as others, and a sense that we're not in control of our thoughts, can all be understood. This can be represented as a journey from a selfless, cooperative and unconditionally loving state in childhood on the left to a selfishly competitive, conditionally loving state in adulthood on the right. In the middle of this diagram, we see our daily routine, our efforts at decision-making reliant on those two opposing outlooks. Our instincts, most associated with our selfless, unconditionally loving cooperative state, and our conscious mind, most associated with our selfish, conditionally loving competitive state. Internal conflict, as the outcome of living with both, grows as we grow. Incoming information from other people or from our own activities is received by our instincts and our conscious mind. A conclusion is reached by both, an action if the information received is accepted, or a reaction. Both feed back into the cycle as new incoming information, adding to the initial information and repeating the cycle. Though it is possible in some cases for our conscious mind and instincts to agree, the majority of outcomes result in conflict. For example, a selfish decision we make or are forced to make, in our jobs perhaps, or as a result of previous actions or reactions, will be reprimanded by the will of our instincts to be cooperative. Equally, an opportunity for behaving cooperatively will be reprimanded by our conscious mind as restricting personal development. Should these criticisms fail to be resolved, as is likely, a rising scale of conflict can be seen as each cycle concludes, from self-doubt to frustration to anxiety and anger. It's easy to see how, even on our own, we are frequently in conflict. In company, this can increase significantly. By the time we reach adolescence, this unending cycle of conflict becomes overwhelming. We become alienated, not only from the world around us, but from ourselves. We are no longer capable of upholding the values with which we were born, and very little of what we see around us upholds those values either. This is an extremely painful realization, a realization that we have failed, despite our very best efforts. We resign ourselves to defeat, and eventually denial of everything associated with that defeat, suppressing everything we feel simply in order to cope. But this denial, by its very definition, does not resolve the problem. At this stage we enter legal adulthood, though remaining, in mental processing terms, adolescence. With legal adulthood we focus on jobs and money, a key part of sustaining our denial, a new life through which we can alleviate the personal pain of failure that we're forced to deny in order to survive. The role of the world around us now is to replace everything we've lost with anything that makes us feel better. Returning finally to the beginning of this diagram, we see how this journey into adulthood inevitably becomes the primary provider of incoming information for the next generation. This journey is what leads to what schools call low-level disruption in classrooms, yet it also leads to the blame culture and resulting self-doubt, anxiety, frustration and anger that not only permeates all discussion around low-level disruption, but which eventually exceeds the boundaries of education and reaches into every corner of global society. The RTL strategy is designed to end this cycle in classrooms for the most important of these groups, those about to become the next generation of adults who will enter global society. It does this simply by enabling human instinct and conscious mind to agree. In part 1 of the strategy, through fluent, constant teacher demonstration of how that agreement looks in the real world, and in parts 2 and 3, actions that further enable unprecedented increases in well-being and academic performance simultaneously that can also be fully sustained. In short, reaching our true potential.